Hi, it's Amy from Click Roll Boom, and today I'll be catching up with Darren from Brit Rock Newcomers Participant. Right, so who are Participant? What's your story? How did you form?
So participant, I mean, we keep saying we're a band, but we're kind of not really. We're two people. So we're kind of, I suppose, we're the world's worst band in terms of actually numbers of musicians. There's just two of us. There's myself and Lee, and I think in essence, with a songwriting partnership is what we are. And it was formed out of the very, very teenage breakup of our previous band, where it became apparent that me and Lee and the other two band members weren't remotely on the same page in terms of what we would like to do musically and who we are as people, and what we believe in and what we don't believe in. So it was a full teenage breakup. I've been in numerous bands in my life, and that was hands down. Me and Leah texting back and forth, going, "What's even going on?" So during the kind of slow demise of that band, me and Lee started writing together. Really, Participant was meant to be a side project, to kind of get our own musical kicks out, and then it rapidly, I suppose, as these things sometimes do, it rapidly became our main project, because we realised that we got similar musical grounds, a similar belief in what a band should do, should be, and should sound like, and actually kind of a similar ethic in what we wanted the band to do. Yeah, and we just wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote, and the eventual kind of idea is we're just going to just keep putting music out and kind of don't really care what it's supposed to sound like. I think bands are so hooked up on, oh, this is the sound of our band, but because it's only two of us, we can kind of do whatever the hell we want. And it's always going to sound like us. It's got my voice on it. So that's the one thing you can't really change. You can do mega heavy guitars, you can do keyboards or what have you, but you can't alter the sound of someone's voice. So that's kind of that's the kind of ethos of the band. We're just going to keep our music out, and we struggle with the idea of an album. I'm not sure anyone really listens to albums for newish bands. I don't know. So we're just going to keep putting a track out a month forever, literally forever. We've got probably best part of 2 albums worth of material already, so we can release well into next year now. And we're just going to keep putting track out and track out and track out, and mainly for our own kicks, to be honest.
So what's the story behind the band name?
In our previous band, we didn't really feel like we were able to participate in the way that we would like. So we decided to form a band in which we were active participants and active songwriters.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a nice politically correct answer.
So how would you describe your sound?
I would describe our sound. I guess we're a rock band. We're a reasonably heavy rock band. Lee is more influenced by significantly more heavy stuff than I am. I'm more influenced by more kind of punk and that kind of thing. So we kind of found a mutual ground, which we kind of deviate within that very wide middle ground. But I guess in essence we're a rock band. I think we have borderline metal overtones every now and then, but I think my voice is never really going to do too in the way of metal. So we're focused very much on the song and having hooks and choruses that hopefully people enjoy and people like.
In a lot of ways, that side of things is quite Britpop, quite indie as well.
Yeah, you know what? We got the last single we do. So we just released a track called Brand New Metal,
Yeah,
and somebody said that it had kind of feeder
yeah,
overtones to it.
it does. Yeah,
Okay, so it's one of my favorite bands. But I don't. It's one of my favorite bands, but I genuinely don't think I'm musically that influenced by them. So
Mhm.
the amount of times that we kind of get feeder references, and I think that must be in the vocals. It must be in the catchy chorus, catchy
Yeah,
vocal
definitely.
type
Yeah.
thing. I'm happy to take it as yes, I think it's a compliment.
That's the thing with Feeder though. Feeder have made their whole career sounding very. They've not really deviated from their sound.
Yeah,
Um,
no, I get that.
yeah, they've kind of
Yeah,
they found a no frills formula, and they've never felt it necessary to kind of reinvent themselves, which I
yeah. I
admire.
mean, they started off. I mean, I kind of got into them on the second album, so
Mhm.
I mean that was donkeys years ago now. But with kind of anesthetic and another couple of tracks, which I can't remember now, on there, and they kind of went through. They kind of got marginally poppier from there,
Yeah,
with kind of uh, think we're gonna make it, and
mm,
that kind of track,
yeah,
and then they kind of rode that kind of wave of being really massive, and they just got down to a lovely level now where Grant is seemingly putting out music again that he really likes.
yeah,
He'll not sound like Feeder, but they're I think there's a less Britpop aesthetic to them. I
yeah.
think now.
They were never really Britpop though, not fully under the umbrella of Britpop, I don't think.
No, I mean again, they're British and they're popular, so that technically makes them Britpop. But I mean, they kind of rose. I mean, they kind of rose at similar times to Oasis, didn't they?
Yeah,
And what have you. So I guess yeah, they're a British export band. They were making poppy music, so I think they kind of
yeah,
got lumped under the same
yeah.
band. But I've always thought they were a rock band, and live they're very much a rock band.
Oh, definitely.
Mm.
So, apart from Feeder, what other musicians have influenced your sound?
So I guess the mutual grounds that me and Lee operate in, like Queens of the Stone Age. I'm a massive fan of Refused. They are like my favourite bands. Frank Carter and the Rattlesnakes, if we're kind of looking for kind of more modern references. Lee Lee thinks there's only one band in the world, and that band is Tool. Um, so that aspect, especially, is very similar to most Tool fans. That
Yeah,
there's Tool and there's other music. But yeah, I mean, like genuinely, I listened to. I mean, I had Jamiroquai on in my car the other day. I genuinely listened to loads and loads of stuff. But kind of, yeah, the mutual ground, Queens of the Stone Age, I guess. Actually, I would say mutual ground Feeder, but Lee really fucking hates them. But yeah, Frank Carter and Rattlesnakes, more kind of punky stuff.
yeah.
Refused are the greatest bands of all time. So.
So where does your songwriting inspiration come from?
Um, in terms of kind of you're asking about the content of the songs now, I guess.
Just in general, anything, any part of
So,
it. Where do you get your inspiration from?
um, I mean, we were going to call the first EP "Motivated by Spite," which I think says enough. So we most of my lyrics are they're not really that abstract. They're they're reasonably pointed, but they're I guess they're personal to me. So when people hear them, they kind of make their own references to what it's about and what have you. But yeah, musically, the last kind of 4, 5, 6 tracks that we've been recording have very much been kind of about personal situations that we found ourselves in over the past kind of 2-3 years. I think music is always written best when it's coming from a a personal place.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
it did much more authenticity
Yeah,
to it than writing a song saying, well, this is what I'm going to write about because that's what's cool
yeah,
nowadays,
exactly. Yeah,
or well, if I write this, then loads of people are going to be really into it.
yeah,
And so we could have, yeah, I guess that's my frame of reference. My frame of reference is our own experience. I mean,
yeah,
the last release, which is brand new metal, was literally written about the moment that I knew my previous band was dying a slow and painful death. And it was written very specifically about a text message that I received from another member of that band,
yeah.
literally straight after my dad died. So I think that the content of the songs kind of inform the vibe of the song as well. We tend to write music first and then lyrics, but then I think the tone of the lyrics then kind of informs where that song ends up going. Is
Do
that a
you
good
share,
answer? I don't know. That sounded like I knew what I was talking about.
do you share the songwriting? Or
Yeah, it's an absolute partnership. It was originally started as like because he lives kind of further south than I do. It's originally started almost like as a collaboration via email. I had an idea, I sent it to him, he had his bits, send it back and what have you. And I suppose that's the delights of having really fancy computers nowadays that you can do that, and actually recording at home is now more than possible for most bands. Um, uh, but I think I still think our best work is done when we're in a room together and we are working on music together. But you know, that's not always possible. But we have recently kind of set up our own studio and what have you. So the recording process is definitely done collaboratively and together, and that's when things can change and can alter and can
yeah,
change in sounds.
yeah. Do you have any many creative differences?
No, that's the whole genius of the band. Yeah, we are absolutely 100% on the same wavelength
Yeah,
with pretty much everything we do,
mhm,
because we have a 50% joint ownership of this, and it is, you know, it's was set out to be a collaborative project where we could express ourselves. Unlike previous bands that I have been in, where it has very much been more of a benign dictatorship. So
okay, you don't want that.
no. I mean, I've been in that band where I was the dictator, and didn't enjoy that either. You know,
Yeah,
I think it always works best when it is, you know, 100%
yeah, definitely.
100% collaborative.
Yeah, yeah. So you put a few singles out, and I think we've already touched on this. You put a few singles out in the last 6 months. Is there
Yeah.
any an album on the horizon?
No, I genuinely think that the album as a format, unless you are specifically releasing a hard copy like CD, I think the album as a format is completely dead. We're still not sure whether we're going to group the tracks that we're progressively releasing. We're going to release one a month. I don't know whether we're going to group those tracks as an EP at some point,
Yeah,
or whether we're just going to have literally on our Spotify or our iTunes track after track after track after track. We
yeah,
kind of don't really know, but I think, you know, it's all right if you bring in the horizon or you're refused and you want to release out an album and kind of you put all your marketing budget into releasing a specific
yeah,
thing. But you know, even those bands, you look on there, and I know Spotify isn't the be all and end all of popularity or music as a whole, but you look on their Spotify and you can see that people are still picking and choosing
yeah,
which tracks they want to hear. Now I know we used to do that when we were younger with CDs, and we skip to the track we want.
yeah,
On Spotify and iTunes and all of those other streaming services have made that even easier, and it's made, I think it's made the album as a format a very disposable thing. You agonize as an artist over the track order and
yeah,
everything else like that, and then you slam it up on Spotify and people just listen to it in whatever order, quite often on shuffle.
Yeah, but do you not think it's almost a shame that the album is dying out? Because is
Yeah.
that not the way to get your full narrative across? Because you write, I don't know, 10 songs. There's obviously a theme or a narrative running through those songs. You put them on in order, and obviously you lose all that just putting out singles.
Yeah, 100%. But I think, you know, I used to love going buying a CD, or even buying vinyl nowadays, and you kind of get it out and you kind of look at the artwork, and it's great. But when you are not releasing hard copy
Yeah,
products, the artwork's vaguely meaningless.
yeah,
You know, it's just a track cover and a little bit of a video that kind of goes over your Spotify canvas.
yeah,
And again, people pick and choose what they want to listen to.
yeah,
So I think it's. I mean, technically, as though we are putting out an album, we're just putting it out track after
yeah,
track after
yeah,
track after track. I think it does lose something. But I think also I don't I don't really I don't really know what the alternative is.
yeah. You say you're going to put a track out a month.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a risk with putting a track out every month that people that where you could be creating a buzz with music, new music so often? Do you think there's a risk that you also overdo it by putting it out so often?
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that. I've said that we're releasing a track a month out loud now. I think that we're committed to it. Um, I think there is the one thing that I do worry about with doing it this way. I suppose firstly you had to kind of care about. You have to really want to care about your audience, and
Yeah,
and I don't mean this like I don't mean this like badly, but actually all we want to do is put music out.
yeah,
Now, if people like it, then great. We're going to put music out that we like, and then if people like it, then great.
yeah,
So then, if you could take a step back from that, then creating a buzz, I'm less bothered about, because we're doing it for ourselves.
yeah,
The flip side of that is, I think there is a potential where we can't maintain a buzz if you do it every single month. It's like a peak and a peak and a peak and a peak. And I think that's where an album would come in, because you can create a buzz and you can sit
yeah,
back and you can relax a little bit.
exactly. Yeah,
And I understand that, but we kind of vowed right from the off that we were going to do music for us. And I know that if you're putting it out, then therefore you're putting it out for a reason, and you want people to like it. Of course, I'm really needy, and you know, I'm really self-involved, and I need people to like me. But essentially, we've got to commit to what we said
yeah,
we're going to do,
absolutely. Yeah,
and you know, I suppose the answer is. Until everybody's heard, if we want to be popular, until everyone's heard us, then surely every track is going to build on the previous track, and so by
yeah,
by the end of 2025, we'll be playing Wembley Stadium, I guess.
yeah. That's a good plan.
Yeah, that's the plan. That's the plan. Wembley Stadium, December 2025. You had it here first.
Yeah. So, talking about shows, have you played live much?
Nope.
Okay.
We right now we have no intention of putting this project live.
Okay.
I think it's hard enough for a new band to get off the ground as it is. And I think there is an argument that playing live helps with that. I've done numerous bands in my lifetime of varying degrees of success, and the one advice I can give any new band starting is relentlessly playing the toilet circuit around the country is not the best way of getting out of relentlessly playing the toilet circuit around the country. So we've kind of basically said, listen, if there comes a point where people are asking for us to play live, then at that point we'll work out how we do it. But we're a two-piece band. We currently hire in, I guess, a drummer, and who's amazing, a guy called Jack Wrench. He's played for Arcane Roots and Jamie Lenman. The guy's an absolutely phenomenal drummer. We've had Kelly Scott from Failure on another one of our tracks. And I quite like being able to kind of get different drummers in to do our bidding. I think when you kind of get it live, you kind of want to be a band at that point, and it makes it a bit more. I don't know. I don't know what we'd do if we were asked to play live. Whether we'd still do it as just us two and just work on visuals, and then almost play to the drums that have been recorded. I don't know. It'd be interesting if the demand was there, but I think we've got no intention of playing live until there's any sort of grounds for other people asking for it.
Okay, fair enough. So if you were to go on tour, who would you most like to tour with?
So that's a good question. I think bands would be kind of most suited to. Obviously, I've mentioned Refused before. I would love to tour with Refused. They're insanely good live as well. I think Queens of the Stone Age would be interesting. In terms, I went to see Bring Me the Horizon at Sheffield Arena the other week, and visually it was just mind-blowingly good. And I'd love to. I mean, one thing I'd be thinking about is what we can do visually that would be interesting. I think whatever level we played at. So I'm not a huge fan of the support acts that played with Bring Me the Horizon. Bad Omens, I think they're called Bad Omens.
Okay, yeah.
Not my bag at all, but visually, again, it was really good. And so that kind of stuff kind of really appeals to me, I think.
Yeah.
That's not an answer to your question, but
what does the future look like for Participant?
So the future is I'm committing to it. We're releasing a track a month until we pop our clogs, I guess. I think we want to continue challenging ourselves to keep writing the best we can, and I think because we're recording ourselves as well, we're also challenging ourselves to sound better with every track that we record and every single thing that we do. I think we keep talking about like going full on hardcore metal, like screaming death metal for a bit. But I think we have to offset that therefore with some like quiet, maybe some like piano stuff. So I think the next bunch of tracks that we're releasing, just trying to think what they are, they'll kind of carry on with this kind of Participant sound, and then I think we might want to challenge ourselves to veer wildly around that and hopefully change people's perceptions as to what Participant is. And then really, who knows? I think we want to do more videos. I think we want to I think we just want to carry on being creative, and in terms of the future, I guess we want to carry on enjoying this, because I think the one thing I'd say to anybody involved in music is the first thing that you need to do is ensure that you're enjoying it, and I'm not convinced every band does.
Definitely.
No, I didn't enjoy my previous band, and I think what we're getting out of Participant has been what we've both been looking for quite some time. So I think the future is to cling on to that desperately. Actually, that's a good answer.
So, and lastly, give yourselves a shameless plug.
I give yourself a shameless plug. So we're Participant. We make music for ourselves, and we really hope that the music that we make for ourselves also resonates with other people, and hopefully you can hear some degree of authenticity in what we do.
Brilliant. And where can people find you online?
Online, you can find us Participant Band on every single item of socials that you can possibly find. No one uses websites anymore, so don't look for us on the website. It's all about Instagram, it's all about X, and it's all about threads and what have you. we've got no team. It's me and him that do all of the replying and all of the marketing and what have you. In terms of music, we are on every streaming platform you can possibly think of. Search for Participant.
Brilliant. Well, thank you ever so much for talking to me.
No, thank you. Sorry about the technical hitches earlier on.
Cheers. Thank you.
Brilliant. Take care. Bye bye.
Bye.